Imagine it is Season 1, Episode 1 of The Dragon Prince, and you are talking with Callum. You tell him that he is going to eventually embark on a grand adventure across the continent, finally crossing into the elven lands of Xadia, in order to return the baby dragon Ozymandias to his mother Zubeia. He probably looks at you with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. He wants to be more than just the step prince, the kid who is looked down upon because he is not a brave and strong warrior like his stepfather, King Harrow. And he is not the heir to the throne like his brother Ezrin. Though he looks at you askance, he asks you to tell him more. So you say that an elven assassin will attempt to kill him, and he will respond to this by slowly falling in love with her. He would likely find this turn of events implausible at best and disturbing at worst. He would likely not know what to do with the idea of having this kind of relationship with an elf. At the start of the show, he does not seem to have any relationships with elves, let alone close and intimate ones. And yet Callum has become completely comfortable with his relationship with Rayla, and she has become completely comfortable with her relationship with him. Even though she has been trained since she was a young girl to look down on humans, and to think of them as nothing more than egotistical fools who want nothing more than to increase their own power and to have no respect for the natural environment. The evolution of their relationship is inspiring, and it could point toward the future for this entire world, so let us investigate that relationship. Despite their wildly different backgrounds, Callum and Rayla are far more similar than they are willing to admit at the start of the series. They both long for connection, but they do not know where this connection would come from, and they both have heavy burdens on their shoulders. Burdens that they did not ask for, burdens that hold them back. Callum was not always royal, only becoming such when his mother, Queen Sarai, married King Harrow. This makes him both an insider and a loner. He is an insider because, growing up in the royal family, he has received opportunities that the average peasant can only dream about, but he is a loner because he does not fit the idea of what a traditional leader is supposed to be in this world, and because succession is based on blood, and he does not have royal blood, unlike his brother Ezrin. Similarly, Rayla's parents seem to have at least been respected at some point in their lives. They became close enough to Runan, a respected elven warrior, that he offered to raise their child for them, and he kept to that promise even when they did not come back from their confrontation with Viren, and even though their reputations rapidly deteriorated. However, though we don't know anything for sure, they did not appear to treat their daughter with a lot of love and affection. They were warriors first and foremost. When Callum starts heaping praise on her, she is surprised, and while flattered, she looks a little uncomfortable. Not because she's not used to Callum praising her, but because she's not used to anyone really praising her. When Elven society branded her parents as traitors for reasons that I'm sure will become clearer in later seasons, Rayla took this as an indication that she needed to become even tougher. She could not show any vulnerability, especially not to humans, and Runan bolstered this ethic in her. But she was secretly more vulnerable than her rugged demeanor would suggest. She got in real hot water for not killing the guard she was supposed to kill near the start of the series, and she did not kill Callum either, though she had the opportunity to do so. None of this is to suggest that her pride is not real. It is very frustratingly real, but it is not as all-encompassing as she would like to pretend it is. When they are traveling by boat early in Season 1 of The Dragon Prince, Callum asks Rayla a few questions. Initially, she is callous and bitter, but gradually she warms to him. She likes being asked about herself and her country. She likes being thought of as an interesting person with an interesting story. This is not an interpretation of herself that she often encounters. That he takes an interest in her starts her on a path toward taking an interest in him. However, when their relationship starts to evolve from platonic to romantic, the roles are flipped. Rayla takes the lead, and Callum is left in a reactionary position, wondering if he really wants a relationship with her. Ever since he was a child, his romantic interests have been cast directly in the direction of Claudia. This does not mean that he consciously believes that Claudia is the only person with whom he could have a comforting romantic relationship. He does not dedicate himself to the discredited idea of the one. He does not believe there is one single person who will change his life immeasurably and bring him everlasting happiness that he could not otherwise find. But he never seriously considered that he could end up in a relationship with someone else until Rayla forces him to consider that idea. Of course, before she can do this, she must at first gather the courage to admit her feelings for him, and this is not exactly an easy task considering how proud and reticent Rayla can be about her emotions. To admit the depth of one's feelings for another is a gesture of complete vulnerability, and Rayla is not particularly good at being vulnerable. Though she possibly could have developed romantic feelings for Callum as early as Season 1, and though she almost certainly developed these feelings for him by the midpoint of Season 2, when Callum and Ozymandias survived the storm, she does not consider admitting her feelings for him until the end point of Season 2. There are those who consider Rayla's almost confession in the Season 2 finale to pretty much come out of nowhere, and though I do not share this belief, I do not believe it to be completely unfounded, considering the degree of emotional restraint Rayla exhibits. Hopefully, in the novelizations and graphic novels filling in the gaps between the seasons of The Dragon Prince, and giving more detail on the events of these seasons, through all that, we will gain more entrance into Rayla's consciousness. Unlike Callum, and especially unlike Callum at the start of the series, Rayla defines herself less by her words and more by her actions. Though she has difficulty talking about her affection for Xadia to Callum, it is very clear that she misses it profoundly, which makes it all the more distressing when she returns there in Season 3 only to discover she has basically been banished from her homeland. Similarly, though she has difficulty describing what Callum means to her, with notable exceptions such as her doomed but very beautiful appeal to the dragon Soul Regum, she never has difficulty acting on these feelings, whether that means embracing him once she discovers that he is alive in the midpoint of Season 2, or whether that means kissing him in Season 3, surging with affection toward him. And yet, even though Callum kisses her back, he does not say that he loves her until the end of the season. Even though this comes at a time of immense pressure on both of them, Callum is completely confident and calm as he says this. He has gone from being awkward and scared in far less dangerous situations to breathing with a sense of calm and confidence after enduring a very much life-threatening situation. At the start of the series, they were uncomfortable together, but now they attain complete calm in each other's presence. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It is a brilliant, thoughtful, evocative show that is only getting better with time, and I really do hope we get a Season 4. The show deserves it. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. I promise you that much. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.